last year we brought in a gentleman that we were referred to, and he did such a unbelievable job and is such a dynamic individual that this year when we were looking at options for this year and what would be best for these individuals, man, at the end of the day, we went through a big old list, and it came right back down to the same individual. So we are excited to welcome on the podcast, back to back. Welcome on the podcast, and welcome back for the second year in a row to the Interlink Production Summit, Mr. Matt Easton.
Thank you, James.
Matt is man, he's a professional, and he knows sales, and he knows humans.
Yeah,
That's something last year that we got a lot of feedback was that, man, Matt just seems to get people. He doesn't get caught up in the clutter of individual emotions that can cause us to start changing the way that we approach what we know is right. He just knows people and knows ultimately what works, and is able to give tangible advice and tactics that they can go back and implement. So it was a no-brainer for us, Matt. Welcome to the podcast.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, and I'm excited to work with your people again. We can always get better, and I think it makes me proud that they're picking up some of the stuff that we're putting down. The good news and bad news is, the good news is I'm getting better. I'm thinking about this stuff every night so they don't have to. We're getting more skillful. I'm helping them with tips. The bad news, James, kind of good news for the people that hang out with us, but the bad news is, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, I think the world is getting worse in terms of their ability to be skillful, their ability to communicate, their ability to ebb and flow and move things forward. I think potentially social media probably has a lot to do with it. But I've had producers that are, 7-figure people that come to me, and the minute they get faced with some sort of roadblock in the deal, they're just,
they don't know how to problem solve.
yeah,
They don't know how to work
and
around it.
I wonder if, and I'm not trying to sound like an old man or something, but I wonder if it's this, all these devices and the ability to go, I'm not into that, and just kind of swipe off of something and go. We don't sit with things long enough, and we're too quick in our society and as individuals to go, wait a minute, okay, what's going on here? Is this really dead? How can I be more skillful with this? How can what should I say when I'm reaching out besides, following up, checking in, that normal stuff? Why hasn't this agent or broker or team sent me any business? How can I, raise my hand and get in front of them?
So what that reminds me of, Matt, is as a child, I mean, it's different that today we have the social media, we have smartphones, and everybody from the age of 8 years old, unfortunately, I think they should pass a law that doesn't allow a kid to have a smartphone until they're like 18. But they don't. So they do have that access. But when I was a kid, my dad was a veterinarian and had a small clinic, small little practice, and my mom worked the front, so she was the office manager. My dad was in the back, doing the vet stuff, and during the summers, I mean, I had to be there, right? I mean, I didn't have childcare. Like, I had to be there, and I had to entertain myself, and I had to figure things out. And at that time, I loved Legos, right? And so, so I would be fortunate enough to get a Lego of some description, some set, maybe a car or helicopter or something, and it had instructions, right? And I would take that helicopter or that car, and I would start with number one, and you'd flip the page, and it would take you through building this thing, and you get to the end, and it looks like the box. I mean, it was great. It was cool. It was awesome. But I still had 7 more hours in the day that I had to figure out what I was gonna do.
Right.
So what do? Well, you tear it apart, you start from the beginning, and you build something based on your own imagination, your own creativity. And then when you get done with that, you still got 6 hours left. So what do? You tear it down again and you start rebuilding. You're just constantly having to figure out different ways. But today, if a kid wants entertainment via Legos, all they got to do is get on Amazon. It's probably there by 7 a.m. the next morning.
Right.
I got one Lego set for the summer, right? And I had to make it last all summer and keep me engaged. And I think it's the same way today is what you're speaking of is that there's a lot of conveniences that come with technology, but there's a lot of creativity,
Mhm.
inspiration, and problem solving that gets suppressed because of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, I mean, not to turn this into a parenting podcast, but and I'll bring it back around for the listeners that are trying to get more done, make more money, be more successful. Probably the greatest gift as parents that we can give our kids, and I think a lot of people are just don't have the courage to give them this gift, and the greatest gift that we can give ourselves in our career is boredom.
Mm,
Right? So much innovation comes from
yeah.
boredom. And if you, to your point, right? I spent a lot of time under my mom's desk,
Mhm. Yeah.
like, and that's where that innovation, that's where that thought process comes from. We don't spend enough time in our careers, with our families, with our life, with planning. And I'm not going to say meditating. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need incense. You don't need a guru to do this, but just sitting with your thoughts
Yeah.
for a few seconds and going, okay, James hasn't called me back, right? Like, what are my options? I can blame James and say, James is a jerk. James is unprofessional. I can get angry. I can go call somebody else. That might be a good idea, right?
Mhm.
Or I can figure out what happened. How can I be more skillful? How can I prevent this from happening? In today's world, and again, I don't want to turn this to you know, bashing technology because technology is great. By the way, if you're on technology at Easton University, right?
Yeah.
Follow me if you want some useful
Well, and you
stuff.
can't listen to this podcast without some kind of technology,
Correct.
so
But sit with your problems a little bit because you'll
mhm.
come up with solutions. Like, for example, Apple, I think it was last week, and it hit me on our Easton University Live. Somebody's like, "Did you see the Apple update?" And I was like, "No, I didn't see it in there." They're doing call screening now. And for a second,
Mm.
and I'll admit when I'm wrong. For a second, I got really angry, and I was like, "This entitlement and these designers, and they're just ruining it for people that are trying to do business." Because I'm 52 years old. I've spent my entire life having to call people to make money, right?
Yep,
And nobody
yep.
nobody comes to me, and I was angry when I heard about the update. Then I sat with it for a second, right? Then I went to bed that night, and I like I always do, I have a notepad and a pen and paper. And sure enough, I don't know what it is, the force, God, the universe always comes to me about 3 a.m. I woke up, man, I cracked the whole Apple call screening thing to where started implementing it the single next day. They're rolling it out slowly. I had 3 different people that I had called because I make well over 100 calls a day. Um, Man, I used the formula that I came up with in the middle of the night, broke right through. All of them took the call. It was a better call, James,
Wow.
than it normally is because I sat with it for a
Yeah.
second. And I'm not saying I was bored, but I sat with the problem and I thought about the situation. I said, is this really a problem? How can I adjust? How can I pivot?
Mhm.
And I think, whether you're in real estate, whatever business you're in, sit with your darn things. Take a minute. Think about things. You are a much more powerful being than you give yourself credit for, and you don't need Powell or the Fed or the marketplace to determine your success. Not
Mhm.
anybody that's watching this podcast is not trying to do $50 billion worth of income for themselves.
Right.
So I'm just going to be realistic. They ain't doing 50. If you're trying to move the needle by 50 billion, okay, you need some
Sure.
chips to fall in your favor. You need the market to move. You need this, that, and the other thing to happen. Anybody listening to this could make 10 or dare I say 100 times more money than they're making right now, could enjoy their life 10 or 100 times more. And the first part of doing that is sit with your situation, look at the cards you're dealt, and take those Legos and build something different.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just because the set says interest rates are this, it's a seller, whatever's going on in the world, right? And be careful about all the news you digest because
Half of it. Yeah.
wrong,
Yep.
right? And then you're just sitting there chasing your tail. But look at your Lego pieces and give yourself permission to go, okay, well, okay, what could I do today?
Mhm.
Right? Maybe today, all I'm going to do I'll just give them a quick tip if you're struggling, whatever industry you're in. 10 times a day, just do it 10. If you do this 100, you're not even gonna recognize yourself financially in a year. Just call 10 people that are in the orbit of what you do that maybe could send business your way. Call them. Hey, I just wanted to raise my hand.
Mhm.
Just wanted to let you know I'm out here. Let's say it's mortgage. I live and breathe this stuff. I wanted to let you know I'm out here. Anything you need in terms of loans, questions, even if you just wanted to bounce an idea off of somebody with a client that you're working with, I'm happy to help you, James, right? Whether you're a client or not.
Mhm.
That's the kind of stuff that I picked up at like 12 years old because my mom didn't have any money, right? And I'm like, I got to figure out how to
Yeah.
get some opportunity. And literally back then, I didn't have a phone. We didn't have cell phones or anything like that. Probably a good thing. I just knocked on doors.
Yeah.
And I just went, sorry, I was prejudiced about it. I went to the nicer neighborhoods with
Mhm.
the nicer houses and just knocked on doors. Say, hey, I just wanted to raise my hand, let you know I'm out here. Anything you need, right? Something picked up, some dog poop, some weeds, whatever,
Yeah.
right? I don't even want to get paid. I just want to figure out how to live in a neighborhood like this when I grow. It's amazing when I did that. All of a sudden, people were like, "Come by here. We'll see if you're serious. Come by here at 6:30 tomorrow morning." Right? This guy
Mhm.
Merle Sacknoff turned out to be a judge. I showed up 6:25, 5 minutes early. And here's my golf clubs. Clean my golf clubs. I'm going golfing. I cleaned his golf clubs. It was like straight out of Karate Kid, like
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi,
Yeah.
right? Didn't tell me anything, cleaned his golf clubs. He said, great, thank you so much. He's like, okay, here's the first thing you need to do. Be careful about where you work,
Yeah.
right? And he gave me this little piece of advice. He's like, where are you working right now? And I was like, well, I was really young at the time and I was washing dishes at the Mockingbird. And I'm like, I'm washing dishes, Judge. He's like, you got to get out of there. He says, there's nothing happening by the dishwasher except bacteria and
Yeah.
steam. He's like,
That's good
you,
advice.
you, go tell them today. It's going to be real. This is going to be a hard sell for you because it's hard to replace dishwashers.
Mhm.
Tell them you need to tell them you got an allergy problem with the dishwasher and you want to be a bus boy, right? Great advice and he's like, and now smile at everybody, introduce people. How's your day going? He's like, there's your advice for today, right? Cleaned his golf clubs, got a great tip, got myself out of the funk of washing dishes, but more importantly, in front of
Yeah.
the people at the Mockingbird Inn.
Interacting with people that can
Correct.
with
And
you
it's
next.
just all of that stems from little things like instead of crying and feeling sorry for yourself and going, man, I'm at the time, I think it was 325 an hour I was making as a dishwasher, hey, I just wanted to raise my hand, let you know I'm out here. I love this house. I love man, I sure would love to live on a golf course one day. Anything you
Yeah.
need, just let me know. I'm just trying to figure it out,
Mhm.
right? Those are little things that I learned as a kid, by the way, great advice for a kid, but that we could still use in our careers today. I still use it in my career today.
Yeah.
Little things like that. Again, it's like just because you got a box of Legos doesn't mean you got to build it like the picture on the
That's right.
box.
That's
You know? And a lot of times that picture looks good, but it could look a lot better,
yeah.
right? Like life doesn't have wherever Legos come from, Germany or wherever, I don't know.
Who knows?
Life doesn't have designers making the set to be aesthetically really nice, right?
Mhm.
Life doesn't hand you the Lego Death Star or the Bugatti or whatever the cool set is. Life just hands you sometimes a bunch of crap,
Yeah.
right? But you can take those pieces and move them around. It's just a matter of figuring out how things work and circling back to everything we just talked about, sitting with the dang problem.
Yep.
Give me 4 minutes, people. If you're watching this podcast, give me just four. It's all I'm asking for. After you stop listening to this, by the way, hit like, share it to a friend,
There you go.
pass it along. But then take 4 minutes and think about the thing that's upsetting you the most, where you feel like you've been cheated, you feel like you've been slighted, you feel like you've been dealt a bad hand, and go, how could I approach this differently?
Mhm.
You might not come up with a better answer,
Yeah.
but you might,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you know?
that goes to kinda what we're talking about today at the summit, what we our theme, our tagline is "The time is now." Right?
100%.
So, the time may be now to tackle the issue, sit in your thoughts for a minute, figure out what your options are and where you wanna go, and then implement. To your point, the convenience of technology today, if leveraged properly and understood, can be exponential in your success. However,
100%.
the convenience and the easiness of being able to sit on these softwares that you can go research to your heart's content, and you can easily find a phone number, and all you got to do is hit call. That also can be an excuse to not make the call, right? You can
100%.
because it is so easy. You're like, well, I'll do that in a minute, or I'll do that next hour, or I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that next week, and I'll make up ground. You look up and you hadn't done anything, right? There's a difference in
100%.
not doing anything and sitting in your thoughts. I think that's something,
1,000%.
you know,
And by the way, that algorithm, not to put our tinfoil hats on, but that algorithm, it does not want you taking action.
that's
It
right.
does not, because where does it want you? It wants you right there going, well, if I just know about this a little bit more. Like, that's something I'm dealing with right now, and it's terrifying. I don't bring it up with my wife. My wife's on the devices a lot. That's great. It's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted in life, right? The most beautiful woman in the world, and I love her to death, and she can do her thing, and that's great. But I, as an outsider, I'll look and I'll be like, man, she's been scrolling on that for
We've been there a minute.
a minute, right? And then I'll go on. I have multiple accounts on social media. I don't have a ton of followers. I got a little bit, about 1 million, I think. But I go on there and I'm like, I just have to post. I'm trying to, because I have my daily goal sheets that I do, and I've got my posts and everything that I got to do to hit my goals. And I'm like, I'll go on there to make a post. And all I'm trying to do, here's the mission, James. I have the video already. I'm trying to post it on TikTok. I'm trying to post it on Instagram. I'm trying to post it on YouTube, and I'm trying to post it on LinkedIn. I'll be darned if I'll go to post something on LinkedIn, I don't even get to the upload. I'm not kidding you. Like, it's something, I'll be like, what? Oh, I got to see if this motorcycle crashes. And it's the stuff I hate sometimes. It's like, I hate that I'm tapped in on this. And then the next thing you know, I'm watching a skydiving video. And then the next thing I know, I'm watching the president skydiving. And then the next thing I know, I'm watching somebody complain about the president. And it's been 23 minutes of my life gone. And all I was trying to do was post the darn video. So it's really weird. I don't know what it is that gave us this, but if there are, whether it's God, whether it's aliens, I don't know what it is, but somebody might be going, this is the ultimate experience. Let's give James, I got a good one for you guys. Let's give James a tool that will allow him to be 100 times more successful. But at the same time, if used improperly, will completely allow him to destroy himself. And I don't know, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the paradox that we're all dealing with, is we can research, we can find out what's going on. I can connect with you 5 ways to Sunday any single day. I can hit you on this, I can DM you on this. But then I get distracted. And then when I do it, to your point, I don't press connect. And in all of this research, I never even thought about what was the message that I'm going to send you when I do connect. So it's like, I can't imagine what's going on with the teenagers and them asking other people out on dates, but my guess is they're pretty horrible at it. You know, so it's like we have all of these ways to connect with each other, but we have the channel set up, but we don't know what to say when we say anything. That's gotten exponentially worse. I was always great at that. But I'll tell you what, my competition back then was a lot stronger than it is now, right? Because I was sitting in a car, and I had, like, in the late 90s when I sold for ADP, I had the maps. I had to go to map stores. Like, Montana was in my territory. And I'm like, you don't want to get lost in Montana.
No, but I love
you'll go
Montana.
300 miles. Right. You go.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But I had to have a map, and I had to look at mile markers. Well, what else did that mean? That mean when I walked into your business, James, I had a lot riding on that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, sometimes
A lot invested in that.
an 8.5-hour drive invested on that. So I'm not going to screw that up. I'm not going to screw up my handshake. I'm not going to screw up. Right? Hey, what's the most important thing? James, I've got some great ideas. I've been thinking about it I always let people know. The whole 8 hours in the car, right? Was thinking about this meeting, super excited. I've got some ideas around your current situation, the capabilities you guys need, and helping you guys move forward. But before we jump into my stuff, James, what's the most important thing that we need to accomplish during our time together today? And it's like, that stuff from the 90s that I use today. And literally, I can see people's heads explode. They're like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
right? We just wanted to know, like in your world, we just want to know about this particular rate. When you say you want to know about that particular rate, can you give me a specific example?
Yeah.
You know, and then
So the world has such lack of depth today that if you go a little deeper with somebody, it's
boom,
different.
yeah,
It's different.
they're dying for a human being to like our job. All of us, whatever industry you're in, really at the foundation of it, our job is not to get loans funded or this. Our job is to help people make decisions,
Mhm.
right? And if you can figure that out and go, my job is to look at somebody's current situation, look at where they want to go, right? Look at all the options that they have to get there. And based on my expertise and my experience, I'm going to make a recommendation. That's probably going to sound like, James, because of the fact that you said
Mhm.
blank, right? Because of the fact that you and your wife told me XYZ or ABC, I'd like to recommend 1, 2, 3, right? Does it make sense to do that? Your job is to skillfully help them navigate,
Yeah.
not show up and talk about football and talk about this and complain about rates and all. Your job is to work the darn problem, but more importantly, help them help themselves and work
Yeah.
through the
Lead
problem.
them. Yeah, and
Lead them.
it's something I wanted to bring up, it made me think of it, and I don't mean this to come across in a way that I don't love people or care about people or think highly of people, so I don't want it to come across that way because as I was toying with this in my mind.
Everybody knows you're a mean son of a gun.
Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm a gremlin. And but one thing that I've noticed in my career, and you can probably speak to this. You've probably sat in this thought to some degree and
Mhm.
have a mindset change that I can learn from is, when I'm sitting there doing my thing, focusing on my thing, but yet I still see others' successes, right?
Mhm.
And it's not envy. I don't think it's envy, but it's the mystery of their success versus wherever I feel I'm at today, right? Now, a lot of times, especially with social media, that perceived success is not as real as you think,
Oh,
right?
you
That
bet.
the
You
good
bet.
book tells us,
Cure
comparison
let's call
kills.
it curated.
Yeah, yeah.
The other the ugly stuff is on the other side of the museum you're not seeing.
Exactly, which
Yeah.
gets me to this fact that I would say is a fact that, and I'm gonna use the vast majority, I'm not gonna say all because it's not all. The vast majority of the times that I go engage and I interact with the individuals that I perceive are more successful or have it figured out more than I do, I am underwhelmed.
Mhm.
Once I and I'm like, "Really? Wow. I that's not accurate," right? They don't have something that I don't have. They're just out there doing something I'm not doing today, right?
1,000%.
And that's that's a barrier that I think is to your point that you just had to get out there and knock on a door, right? Like there comes a point where we need a strategy, we need to think through what we're doing, we need to be intentional, we need to know what our job is to lead people to the path that we want them to take. But then there's also sometimes you just gotta throw the spinnerbait, right?
Mhm.
It's I relate a lot of things back to hunting and fishing because I grew up in the South, and that's what I grew up doing, so that's what I know. And, you had tournament bass fishermen, and some of them would fish slow, with a worm, and they would sit there and just jiggle that sucker for forever in front, hoping that they could tick off a fish until it bites, and other people's strategy is, "Man, I'm gonna throw a spinnerbait and I'm gonna have the trolling motor on high, and I'm gonna hit as much ground as I can throwing that spinnerbait because there's some fish that are just hungry. They'll hit
Mhm.
this ugly metal looking thing with a skirt on it, not knowing what it is. They're just hungry.
Mhm.
But if you're sitting in your boat looking at your depth finder and looking at the bank, and you don't have a rod in your hand, one thing I can guarantee you is you're not going to catch any fish, right? So,
100%.
so whatever your tactic is, you got to be willing to put the lure in the water.
Yeah,
And
we're so much more fortunate than we think we are because you look at those people, and I've thought the exact same thing you have, James. But here's the other cool thing about that is those people that are more successful to you than you, if you, which you should, if you do have the courage to connect with them, right? You will be underwhelmed. You will find though they're a lot cooler for the most part. There's some jerks everywhere.
yeah.
For the most part, people are a lot cooler than you would think. And if you said, "Hey, how are you doing it?" they would be more than willing to
To
help you,
share. Mhm.
right? It's not professional sports, right? We're not in this isn't wrestling. We're not in each other's bracket, right? This isn't boxing.
Right.
We're not both contender. Like people will help each other out. And then the other point is you'll realize even a lot of people would look at me and go, wow, Matt Easton's so successful. I look at me and I look at all the other people that I'm looking at above me and I'm like, oh, I'm terrible, right? Everybody's trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
right? That's what separates the people that are doing what you think is great from the people that are quitting and going and working at a coffee shop somewhere is they're just taking action.
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure it out. To your point, and I wish I could give my son's 14. We moved from Colorado to Florida. He immediately caught the fishing virus the
Yeah.
first day there. I don't know anything about fishing, right? So I took him to Bass Pro. I got him some stuff. His first 4 days, this is the best thing, right? Boredom. His first 4 days, he didn't catch anything, right? But he stuck with it. And I'm like, he's going to go
Yeah.
he's going to figure this out because he went 4 days with nothing. Right. But I couldn't give him any tips. And then to your point, there was some kid we'd always drive by. This kid had the salt shirts on
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, the gear on. And I'm like, how about that kid? Nah, Dad. I'm like, 3 different times driving by that kid. Turns out the kid's name was Spencer. He's been hanging out with Spencer a lot lately because I'm like, why don't you just go up to that kid
What you catching them on?
and just say, hey, my name's Anderson. You can call me Endo. Like, I'm new to town. Hey, like, by the way, anybody will come to your rescue if you use this word, embarrassed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We love to rescue people that are embarrassed because we all know, even Spencer, the world-class bass fisherman, knows what it's like to be, hey, I'm embarrassed. I've been sitting out here for 4 days. I haven't caught anything. He finally broke down and did that. You don't think that Spencer kid was like, let me see your box,
Yeah.
right? That by the way, you're doing this wrong, and you're yanking. Like now, he's been hanging out with Spencer every day. My son's sending me, oh, I got 4 peacock bass. I got I can't remember the other one that he was trying to get for a month now.
Yeah.
Finally, boom, he's catching fish like crazy, right? He's
Awesome.
automatically
Yeah.
swimming, but
Elevated himself
yes,
because he was willing to go humble himself and
100%.
say, hey, what are you doing?
Exactly. And if there's a producer in your office, ask them, what are you doing? How can I get better? Here's what I'm working on. The problem is most people, James, they don't even know what they're working on,
Yeah.
right? Like I come from a jujitsu world, a mixed martial arts. Anybody that's any level of high degree in fighting, you'll be able to ask them, what exactly are you working on right now? They'll be able to tell you. Like if they're a striker, they'll be like, I'm working on my left hook. I'm working on getting power from my hips. If you're in jujitsu, it's like, man, I'm working on submitting with the triangle without having to be on my back, or I'm working on my double leg takedowns or whatever. Find something that you're working on. Go ask for help. Right? We're not attempting space travel.
Yeah.
I'll help them. Come over and find us. We got a locker room of people from all industries every Tuesday, Thursday that are getting better, that are working on this kind of stuff. But to the point, you've got your Legos. It does not have to look, if you don't like how your set that was given to you looks on the box, you can make something else.
That's right.
Here's the other cool part about that. You're probably going to get a long way to doing that if you just slow down, take some thoughts, come up with some hypothesis, but then more importantly, test them, put them into practice, and then go get help.
Yeah.
Right? You don't, if somebody walked up to you in the lobby, James, after we do our event today and was like, man, I really want to get to where you're at, right? I bet you would, as hard as you are, and everybody knows you're just the meanest guy on planet Earth. I bet it would be almost impossible for you not to go, all right, talk to me about what's going, and take time, probably to the point where you'd maybe even be late to your next thing because you would slow down and you would at least have a conversation with that person.
Yeah.
The same way Mr. Sacknoff let me clean his golf clubs and told me to get the heck out of the dishwasher room, right? No disrespect to dishwashers out there, but if you're washing dishes, might be a good idea to get around other people. But ask for help, sit with your problems, try and figure out your problems, right? I cracked the dang Apple thing and at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And coached my people. And now I got people that are fixing that thing. and thriving. I already got 3 texts this morning. Oh my gosh, I ran into it too, and they picked up the calls. Best call I ever had. Just closed it. Like, it, look at what the Legos that life gave you and make something better than what you had. It's not, we're not attempting space travel.
Yeah.
You're trying to 10x your income.
That's right.
It's totally possible.
Yeah. And that requires interacting with other humans, at least in the mortgage business, for sure.
Yeah, but doing it skillfully.
Yeah.
That's the thing that upsets me is people think that, oh, well, if I just interact with James, right?
Yep.
Hey, James, how's it going? That now all of a sudden, James, by the way, James doesn't owe you anything.
That's right.
Right? Just because you interacted with somebody, they don't owe you a damn thing, right? You have to do it skillfully. Hey, James, there's something going on that every agent in Houston's having to deal with right now. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of what's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's going on? You guys are working harder than ever before. You've got, I mean, full-time job letting sellers know that the house probably isn't worth what they think it's worth because they were, they're distracted by the numbers that Zillow, the Zestimate
Yep.
from 2023 is still printed out and pinned on their dream wall. Here's the problem though. Once you do get a buyer, you got that whole mess with the seller, they're getting spooked. Right? One little thing, and now all of a sudden Palisades is going to hold interest rates set. We have more and more buyers that are just going, hey, I'm going to pass. We're going to rent. I'm going to stay where I'm at. Listen, I just wanted to raise my hand, let you know I'm out here. Anything you need in terms of talking to these potential buyers that are getting to put in an offer, even if they're not going to do the loan through me, if you want to have a nice, calm voice to have a conversation with them, because I am seeing so many real estate agents do so much work only to have a deal on the 11th hour completely fall apart over a buyer being paranoid about rates or what's going on here. And it's breaking my heart. Anything I can do. I just want to, if you're frustrated, I just wanted you to let you know it's not you, right? I work with hundreds of agents that are in the exact same position as you. It's going to get better. We don't know when, but anything you need from me or my team, I got a great team behind me. Right? It's all you'd have to do.
Yeah.
But that's a lot different than, first of all, 99% of people aren't even going to reach out to James, the real estate agent at Keller Williams or Remax or whatever. 1% is going to reach out and go, hey, James, it's Matt with Interlink Mortgage. If you need anything, I'm here. And then by the way, when James doesn't send a business, guess who the bad guy is? Not you for not being skilled. You're like, oh, that James with his face on the billboards. He sure is arrogant.
Yeah.
I called him a whopping 2 times and he did not send a single deal to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't break through. It's a good old, no, it's not a good old boys thing. Right? James is just sending business to the person he's sending business to because he doesn't know any better, because you haven't stepped in and gotten his attention, delivered an insight, offered to help him whether he's a client or not. Right? You don't need to do that too often before you'll catch a Merle Sacknoff that's like, polish my golf clubs, and they'll give you a golden nugget of information. Like, you have to sit with the problems of the world, figure out what's going on in the world, be able to insightfully get somebody's attention. Hey, there's a little secret, that the top real estate professionals there in Fort Worth or Sacramento or whatever, they're kind of sharing amongst themselves. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it. I'm on my mobile, 720-660-3202. By the way, you don't have to bleep out my mobile on the podcast. I am happy to give my mobile to anybody, which you guys should be too. I can't believe the amount of people, sorry to run around topics here, but I can't believe the amount of people I call and they have you've reached 55555 or some stupid. You guys should record your outgoing voicemail professional, okay, and willingly give your number to anybody. I'll give you the voicemail to have. It's this. You can call my phone. I'll give you the number one more time if you want to hear it, because I'm usually pretty busy. I might not answer. My number is 720-660-3202. If you called it James, you'd hear this. You've reached Matt. Your call is very important to me. Please leave a message or send a text on how I can best respond. And that's exactly what I'll do. Right? Those are the little things. Success happens in the margins, guys. Figure out how to reach out to people. Make sure that
What's a bad voicemail? Give me an example.
Most people have, because I make thousands of calls a week. Most people have, they got their phone from Verizon or T-Mobile. They took it out of the box and it says the number. So it's an
Mm.
automated voice. There's also
Yeah, that's a horrible one.
it's horrible because oh, by the way, it's like you're in real estate, right? This is the single most important financial transaction of my life. And now I'm thinking about doing business with you, and I don't hear your name and your voice, and I'm supposed to now all of a sudden I have all this paranoia,
Mm.
right? And by the way, it's the worst kind of paranoia because it's not in my face paranoia, it's subconscious paranoia.
Yep.
Most people aren't smart enough to realize that that voicemail spooked me a little bit. So they just go, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because there's nobody on the other end. The other ones that really annoy me, and I don't know. I'm gonna lose some followers on this one because maybe I'm being a conspiracy theory person. But there's these other ones where I'm gonna call it an AI voice.
Yeah.
And I swear they have tuned this to be there's a gentleman and a lady or whatever you want to call it, whatever. Say it's a male sounding voice a little bit and a female sounding voice a little bit. They have picked the tonality of the most, I want to talk to your manager. And it's like, you've ranked Sarah. And it's like this horrible, it's not even smooth. Like, why didn't they have, who's the guy? Morgan Freeman or whoever.
Yeah.
You've reached 5-0. Like, that would be better. So, step number one, like audit your damn voicemail. If you're feeling like a victim, if you're feeling like the world is out to get you, maybe check and see what you're putting in front of the world. Like that's white belt level stuff. That's not even black belt, but like, and by the way, there's going to be producers in our event today, James, that if you called their phones, they're going to have that annoying AI generated voice, or they're going to have the out of the box, and they're also going to be wondering why they lost deals.
Yeah.
Right? It's the little things. Success happens in the margins.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your whole game plan. What am I saying when I leave a voicemail? What happens when they call me back? How am I getting somebody's attention? What's an insight? I love my spouse. We love our families. Here's something you got to realize, guys, whether you're single or married or happily married or unhappily married. In business, you do not have to be monogamous. This is something I learned probably at 16 years old. Monogamy and business do not go together. So what I mean by that is if you can sit down and ruminate after this podcast for 4 minutes and come up with an idea, you don't have to just call James and let James know about the idea. You can call everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how business gets really, really exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate industries. Like sometimes insurance does this where they're like, you need to work with your friend. The first step is to reach out to your friends and family. You are on the wrong path in life if you're like, I'm going to reach out to my friends and family, because there's 8 billion people on planet Earth. Your friends and family should be the last people you reach out to. Why? They're going to take your time. Right? It's going to be the hardest deal you ever close.
Yeah.
And they're not going to appreciate it. Right? Figure out, how can I call, if I was going to call 100 people and I wanted them to call me back, is calling them and saying, hi, I'm out here, and if you have any business to send my way, I'd love to help you. Is that going to work? Probably not. Right? Other people in other industries, the most common thing, James, that they do is they insult people. It's a bunch of insults. It's like being a personal trainer and calling a bunch of people, a much worse way of saying you're not fit. It doesn't work. How many emails do you get saying your website's screwed up, your company's missing out on this, you guys are losing money? That's an insult.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants to call somebody back that pointed out their flaws. But if you can lead with an insight, something going on that everybody that owns a mid-sized company like you guys, right, is having to deal with right now, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it.
Yeah.
Now you're like,
I got to know.
I got to know.
Tell me more.
Right? And you're like, I'm 95% sure this is a sales call. Right? But what if there is something that I don't know about and I lose something?
Yeah.
Business, a client, my top performer. Like there's little changes, you guys, just like changing from working in the dishwashing room of the Mockingbird Inn to being a busboy. Both were terrible jobs, but one of them I got to meet other people.
Yeah.
Right. The other one was a one-way traffic to nowhere.
So let me ask you this question about that, because as we kind of wrap up here, and get ready to go teach all these great LOs how to be even better. What would you tell a loan officer, or what would you tell someone that is trying to implement what you're saying, right? Where you call them and you've come up with a strategy.
Mhm.
Hey, there's something going on, and no, a lot of people aren't talking about it, but I know it is likely affecting you, and I just wanted to
Make
reach
sure
out
you're aware
and
of it.
make sure you're aware of it. How do you overcome an individual thought of, man, what if they think I'm silly? Or what if they tell me, no, I'm fully aware of that and I'm good to go? Like that that fear of rejection using a strategy, because it's going to happen. You're not going to go 10 for 10, right? But
100%.
you don't need to go 10 for 10.
You're gonna answer your own question for you,
Mhm.
okay? You're a very successful individual. You have a number of people that work for you or report to you,
Mhm.
correct?
Yep.
Would you ever think that one of them was silly if they knocked on your door and said, "Hey, there's something going on, boss. I just wanted to make sure let's say you were already aware of it.
Mhm.
Let's say you were already on a conference call in the car and you're worrying about it, and one of your employees came to your office and was like, I was thinking about this last night,
Mhm.
right? And I just wanted to make sure you were, how would you feel about that
Yeah,
employee after
no,
they
I
left?
agree with you. I mean,
You would
I
be like, that is an asset.
they're on it, right?
That's an asset
They're in
to
tune.
my
Now, I
organization.
am too, but they're thinking the way I'm thinking, because there's other people that aren't thinking
1,000%.
100%. I agree with you. I was hoping that's
And
how
but that's
you would
what
see it.
people
Yeah.
listening to this need to realize. You don't have to be right. You don't have to be the most intelligent person in the world. You're showing that you care.
Yeah.
You're showing that you're focused.
Yes.
Your competition is not. Your competition, first of all, they're not calling 99% of, and 1% of them is like, what's up? Hope your day's going great, man. How you're dealing with this heat. That's not helping anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Show that you're in alignment with them, that you're both trying to get to the same place, and that's better,
Yeah.
right? I've never in my entire, and by the way, I don't have the best ideas in the world. I end up with them because I'll call somebody and somebody will, I get it. We're already working on it. By the way, we solved it. Let me tell you how it's getting solved. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you the one thing that nobody really is talking about, Matt, is bop, 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 and bop, bop, bop. And now I got some more going.
Yeah, more content.
Right? Like I'm like
Yeah.
a little bumblebee going from flower to flower to flower. You become the expert. You don't have to work for the biggest company to be the expert. And I don't know if you want me telling this because you got employees, but
Mm.
all of them could be their own little corporation within the corporation.
Yeah.
And they should strive for that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I live in a really, really, it costs a lot of money to get in the zip code that I live at. Just about every single person in there became the expert in something, even if it was something as silly as flash freeze drying fish.
Yeah.
You know, fish gets flash freeze dried. That guy with that giant house right there with the 110-foot boat, he gets 7 cents every time because you have to become the expert,
Yeah.
right? And you guys, we don't give ourselves enough credits in our career for the lift that we're providing the world. Like, great, right? A hockey player can win the Stanley Cup. A loan officer can help a family find a home that's going to put that family on the right trajectory in the right neighborhood where their kid meets the right Spencer and learns how to fish. And then the two of them fishing together figure out a new lure. And then they develop a company at 16 years old. And at 19 years old, they sell that company to Bass Pro for $37.5 million. If that loan officer did not hang in there and help that family, they would have never lived in that neighborhood, would have never met Spencer, would have quit fishing, would have never came up with the lure on that one day. Like, you guys got to realize, like, you're part of an ecosystem here. And if you just start taking your job a little bit more seriously, and you don't have to be so serious that nobody wants to hang around you, but serious enough to have a passion for, like, I'm trying to get better here. Nobody will ever think less of you. Nobody will ever think you're an idiot. There are going to be people that aren't going to call you back. Who cares? That's one of the rules of eastonuniversity.com is if somebody doesn't call you back, it means nothing,
Yep.
right? Do not read into that. There's no data in there that's usable. Figure this stuff out and put it into practice, and the world will reward you. I guarantee you. I will allow you, if you don't have to learn from me, just spend some time and try and figure out your situation.
Mhm.
I'm weird. I've spent my entire life trying to figure this out. So 24 hours a day, I'm thinking about it. If you can just think about it for 4 minutes a day versus 24 hours, you're going to get ahead. If you don't, give me 6 months. of working a plan, creating, like I walk around my little goal sheets every day, create goal sheet, do things for yourself. Give me 4 minutes a day. If you're not unrecognizable in your success in the next year, I will allow you to punch me directly in the face. Like it's just too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy to improve yourself if you make an effort. If you sit around and get angry and don't do anything, you're gonna build the leg. If you follow the instructions, you will build the Lego set that's on the box.
Absolutely.
And most of us are dealt with Lego sets that aren't very cool.
Yeah.
If you spend 4 minutes like you did and said, well, how can I rebuild this? You'll come up with something cool.
Yeah.
Might not be the first iteration, might not be the same. By the third one, you're not even going to recognize your Lego set and you're not going to recognize your life. You're going to get better.
Absolutely. Well, guys, man, I hope you took something away from today. Matt, I appreciate you being here, buddy.
I love being here. Thank you.
I do not for 1 minute believe that's that Matt is making up that you can punch him in the face if you do what he says. We're not successful. And I know that he must be pretty confident because I'm sitting here looking at him and he doesn't have any black eyes. So it must work. So if you want to learn more about Matt, where can they go? Easton University?
Yeah, my social media handles are at Easton University. I think there's an official Matt Easton is another account out there. And then eastonuniversity.com, guys.
Yep.
eastonuniversity.com, eastonuniversity.com. I'll give them my mobile one more time. You can call me. You've got a friend in me. Yep. I am here for you. 720-660-3202. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to this podcast, subscribe to it. Send it to somebody else. Okay, success leaves clues. Don't keep this good stuff to yourself, because if you share this with other people, they are going to hear something different in this podcast that you didn't hear.
Yep.
And they're going to come back to you and go, thank you for sending that to me. By the way, why don't we do this? And then the next thing, the two of you are creating a new fishing lure for whatever you are. I'm using that word metaphorically.
Yep.
And you're both selling your company to Bass Pro for $31.7 million. Congratulations. It's because you both linked up, because you were like-minded, because you both listened to this podcast.
That's right. Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate all that you're doing. Obviously you have earned the respect of our team and they are pumped for you to be back today. So the time is now. So we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna close up this podcast shop, and then we're gonna head over to the big room and go get fired up with a bunch of originators that want to be better. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys listening.